So, okay, so now for some of us that might be new to SSR, SSR means server-side rendering. When you look at some of our single-page application frameworks today, like Vue.js, like Svelte, like React, there are a kind of limitation to what you can do because the whole application is structured such that you get some data from the server, from an API, and then you render it in the DOM, and then you do all those gymnastics. But there are some times that you might want to build something that probably you want your blog, or maybe you are building a blog and you want the meta content, I mean the meta tags, to be changing, like the description, the title, and the likes. So what do you do at those times? So that is why we are trying to see how we can implement a kind of application whereby you'll be able to use React and at the same time achieve that SSR effect. So this is my package.json, as you can see, and then it's not something big. So this is just, okay, I'm actually using the Webpack. So this is the Webpack config. For some of you that have been watching my videos, you will agree with me that I've done some couple of videos on some of these things, like, you know, creating a React application from scratch using Webpack and Babel. And then you see, you can go through my videos, you will get to understand how these things work. And then this is the index.html. Okay, so this is just what we have. You know, this is the description, the meta tag, and this one is the description. The content is no framework, no EJS, and just pure SSR. Okay, then the title is pure SSR. So most of the time we run into this kind of issue whereby when you load your React application, there is just one template, more like a kind of footprint that serves all the pages of your application, and that is this index. So everything just keeps changing inside this guy. So, you know, this is where the application is loaded into. So this is div and code. So, but what happens to this area is just static. So what can we do to make it dynamic, whereby when you have an information you want to pass across, or you just change this one to what you want? And for example, let me give us an understanding of a blog. A blog where you create an article or you've written a blog, the title of that blog is supposed to be here, and then the description of that blog, for example, maybe there is some snippet or a kind of summary or a prelude that you want the customer to see. So for example, if I share a blog, I should see a thumbnail that carries the summary or that carries the description of the link and also the link title. So how do you go about that? If you do it this way, you might not actually get that result when you are sharing the link up and down. So what can you do is to use SSR to achieve that. So I have an application here that is already running, more like a normal React application, just a simple one. This is just like a dry application. There's nothing big about what is there. So let me just fire the application and let's see how it works. I will not want to waste too much of our time. This is my routes.js. I have two routes here. We have the home and the message. So this is how it looks like. Let me go back to the server. Okay, so now going back to the server, this is how my server.js looks like. I have the look at this express app.js, this ports, and then so I'm actually using an environment variable. What else? So this is something that is not strange to us. If you want to serve your React application using Node, so these are to go. But I also have a video on that. If this sounds strange or looks strange to you, you can check my videos on that. So where do we move from here? So I'm starting the application now, and then let's. Hello, sorry, I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'll use the terminal for it. Let me use the terminal for it. Okay. Okay, so, okay, the first one will be npm run dev. Okay, so I want to run the two. So I actually have okay, let me go to my package.json. So I have, okay, what I'm actually doing here is that I'm actually running the React application itself in development mode, and then the server, I'm running it this way. So the two of them needs to run so that I can have it. For example, assuming I'm actually building to production, I'll have to fire this only, and then once this is done, then I can fire this one and it will take it from there. So, well, if you want to understand how all this thing works, you can check my previous videos. You get to understand what is really going on here. Okay, so now the application I've started, server running on port 3100, and also the application has compiled successfully. So let's go to the application now, localhost 3100. Okay. So you can see the application. You are welcome to the world of pure SSR. Go to message, you just have something like this. So it's not anything big, but there is something I want to point our attention to. From what we have here, I've actually clicked on inspect elements. So here now, okay, let me go to the home page so that you guys will be able to capture what I want to explain at this point. So this is the meta tags that actually complements our XSR. So this is the title and this is the description. So what we have here is what is in this index.html that is being rendered here. So if I go to message, I still have the same thing. So it's just this div ID is got to have that changes. So this remains intact, nothing happens to it. So with that, whatever, even if you have 1 million pages, this is just what you'll be having. So how can you change this? How can you manipulate what is here so that Google bot can track your application per page? And if you have a blog and you want to share it, you have written an article, the title of your application should come in this form, and also the title of the article you've written should be here, and then the content should be here. So I mean the summary or anything that describes that article should also be in the meta tag here. So how do we go about that? So the first step to take is to create another index.html, not index.html. You can name it any name you want, but I will call it pages.html. So let's do that in our public folder. That is new. That is pages.html. So now this pages.html is going to contain some things that we can read on the server, and then we change it to whatever we want it to be. So now here I'm going to be putting something called this. So you can put anything you like. So this is just like a placeholder. So you can make do with anything you want. Okay, so now the contents, yeah. Okay, so this is what we have. So if you have maybe images too, you can also add it to this one. If whatever you have here that you want to replace or you want to change, you can just use this placeholder, something to just read and then you manipulate. So let's go to our what's it called, our application now. So now for this one, let me go to the server now. Now let me write something called app.message. So we want to actually track the message page. So let me put request response objects. So if I send something like maybe hi, So this is still there. Now, if I now put message like this, press enter, it will hit the server. So one thing you should understand is that when you put an address or a particular part in your web browser and you click on and you press enter, it will hit your server and then something will happen. But when you do the normal history.push in React, it doesn't hit the server like that. So that's just what is happening here. So, but if I go to my home page and I click on this button, go to message, it will take me to message like this. You understand? So this is not actually hitting the server. So that's it. So now what we need to now do is, how can we read the file, this pages.html? How can we read it such that once it is read, we can manipulate the content? Okay, so we have something called file system in Node. So we want to use it at this point, const fs, and it's called fs, that's require fs. So we actually, I want us to write this normal async and await kind of code. So we will be using promises for that. Yeah. So now, okay, so we have to put in async. So anything that does, so the rule in Node is that anything that does IO, that is input output operation, at least is good, you make it asynchronous. Okay, so now let me fire my try and then my catch. So at this point, I can just say const. So I can say const what's that, const path to file is equal to path.join, or you can use resolve anyhow. Okay, let's use resolve. Okay, I use join this first one. Okay, let me use resolve here and use anyone to give the same result, but they're actually different anyway. So we have clients, we have active directory, yes. So I'm actually using this so that in case it is in production, it will pick the right folder. So then the file is pages.html. Okay, so that is the part of the file. And then the next one is the file data itself. So file data is, so we now say await fs.read file, and then put a path to the file, and then put UTF-8. If you don't put UTF-8, it's going, the result will not be a string, it will actually be a buffer. So okay, at this point, let us console.log the results. Console.log file data. So rest.end. I don't want the client to keep rolling. I want it to get a reply from the server. So I'm just using this. So I'm just ending the call. This point. Okay, so this one, let's see. Okay, so now this is okay. So now let's run the application again. So I'm actually using NodeMon, so the application has reloaded. So let me refresh now. Okay, yeah. So now let me go to this place. So we can see now, you can see the results here. So this is pages.html. This is the content inside pages.html, and we have the placeholders here, the description and the title. So we are fine. Now let's move on. So the next thing to do is to now change the the path to now change title and description to whatever we want it to be. So, and then, okay, so for the sake of we understanding the fact that you can send something from the front end and still use that data that you have sent to change that, to manipulate the pages.html that we are actually working with here. So I'll be doing some little gymnastic at this point. Now, let's say our title is equal to, so I'm going to be using a query, the title. So once this is available, then we are going to use it. But in case it's not there, what are we going to use? So we can just say my message. So that settles it. Then the next thing will be description. If description is available, to use it. Or if it's not available, that's description. So I'm just using this as just for us to understand this, because actually when you want to do some of this manipulation, it will actually come from where your data is, your data source. For example, if it's actually a blog and somebody is requesting for the content of that blog, you go to the database, you fetch it out, and then you will now use what has been fetched, the title, the image that has been used as the thumbnail, the description for that link. You gather them, you get them, and then you use it to then you change that placeholder, that description and that title, change it to whatever has come from the database. So that is how to go about that. But this one now is just something simple for us to understand how to do this manipulation. So in case it's not available, we use what should we put? Pure SSR. Cool. So that's it. Now, so what we do next is, so we can now say const data is equal to, so file data dot replace. So, it's actually a string, and one of the, what's it called? One of the method that can be used on a string is replace. So we want to replace this title with the title that we want for this application. So replace, and then we have this as description. Okay, so now I think that's all. Then the next thing we'll do now is we'll now have to send this, it's actually an HTML tags. It's made of, this one is made of HTML tags, so we don't need to send the file anymore. So we just send it here. So here now, if you do rest.send and you put some tags along with some string, it will work. Like the hi we send the other time, if I put a p tag or h1 is going to work. So now if I do like this, I can still do like this for the sake of knowledge. So if I do something like maybe PPP, H1, I do something like this. Okay, so now if I do like this, okay, I think something is happening. Nothing is happening. Okay, so if you actually see this now, okay, so we want to render what is here. So this is H1 PPPP, and let's see what we are going to have here. Okay, you can see. So it means that whatever we do here is going to work. Okay. So this is my message, then the content is undefined. So what's going on? Let's check my message, description. Oh. Okay, so the content has changed. The pure SSR, the content is no framework, no EJS. So you can see, but if I still go to, if I still click on this button, you see what will happen now. Can you see now this thing it's just there. Nothing has changed. So what we need to do is to go to our message.jsx, that's the component. So now instead of to the home page rather. So instead of us using history.push message here, so what we need to do is to use location.href is equal to message. So that's how to go about that. Let me save that and then let's see it again. Okay, so now let me go to my home page. So go to message now. So can you see now? Now the call is fired against the server. So, and that's what we have here. Can you see that the content has changed? So that's what we are saying. Now, if I now decide to add some query here, like maybe say, what should I use? Let me just say here. Okay, let me just say title is equal to here. And then what else? Then if I now put what we call a description, this is equal to, let me say, I care about you. Okay, so that's just an example. So now let's fire that again. Okay, so you know it's actually from the function here, so not from the address. So now if I go to this place, go to message. Now if I click on go to message, you can see it has changed. The content is I care about you, then the title is care. So you can see now this is what has been passed as a query string, and then this is what we have in the meta tags, the title and the meta description. So this is just a simple way by which we can implement SSR without using React.hydrate, without using EJS, just something simple. You can just see. So it means that if you have something, so instead of you creating different pages, because some people can also be creating pages and be doing what I'm doing, but you know, you want something dynamic. So just be reading it. So inside this route, just collect your data from anywhere and then use it. Replace the title, description. If you have something else you want to replace, you are free. Even if there is something that is maybe a title bar or whatever, you can also still do server-side rendering on it. So anything is possible. So, and this brings us to the end of the tutorial. But in case, for knowledge sake, you can build your application to when you do run build. That will be, I'm coming, let me just do that. Let me stop this. So if you do npm run build, so this is just not done, something you can just take home. If you have any question in this tutorial, please, you can leave that for me to tackle in the comment section. Just put it down there. And if you are here, you've been watching our video tutorials and you're here to subscribe, please click on that subscribe button now. Please click on the subscribe button now, and then turn on the notification bell. Click on the notification bell so that when we drop a new video, you can get notified. So we'll be bringing to you from time to time video tutorials on JavaScript, React, Node, and so on. Our aim is to make you guys tech, as in you guys should become a guru. You understand programming, you understand how some of these things work. So I've actually successfully built it, and I have a build folder already. That's main. So because this build folder needs these two things, so I have to copy them. So actually there is a plugin that you can use to copy the content of this, and then even the one I'm using, the Webpack, I actually commented that the HTML plugin, this thing. So you can also still use that one, it will work normally. So, but this one, I just want to do something manual, not something serious. So I just pasted it. So now pasting it here now inside my this thing. I have to change some things there for it to work. So now I don't need this because we are not actually running a development server anymore for that. So this is just what we need. And that's if we are going production. So now this is what we need. And then in my this thing, what's it called? So that's production. So now if I now go to my environment file, then I will now do what we call production. Then I will save it. And then let me start my server all over again. And then we'll have the results. So this is the only thing we are now going to run. Yes. So, and then if you come here like this, you see the results instantly. SSR. So that's it. So now in the code is actually, so this is in production. So the folder, the public folder is not being used here. It's just the build folder that is being used here now. So that's what's going on here. So then your go-to message. So you have it here. Rendering. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Sorry, I was just imagining what's going on. Okay, so yeah, so I have to do this. Yeah, because these two files are inside this folder, so it's not actually running inside it. Okay, so now I can really work now. Yeah, it has worked. So you can see now. So this brings us to the end of the tutorial. Now, my next video tutorial is going to be another bomb. So be expectant, anticipate something great. Thank you, and God bless.